I'd like to call our Board of Trustees meeting to order. Welcome to tonight's meeting, trustees, faculty, staff, guests. Vanessa, would you please call the roll?
Vice Chair Milken.
Here.
Treasurer Davis.
Here.
Trustee Hatcher.
Here.
Trustee Landau.
Here.
Trustee McCoy.
Here.
Thank you. We have an agenda from our last meeting to review and approve. Do I hear a motion for its approval
So moved. Second.
and support? Any discussion? All in favor of the approval of the agenda?
Aye.
And we have minutes to approve. From our October 22nd monthly meeting, do I hear a motion for the approval of the minutes?
So moved.
Support. We have a motion and support. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The minutes stand approved. Thank you. Citizen participation. WCC Education Association. It doesn't
Good
look like
evening.
Mr. Fitzpatrick.
No, he wasn't supposed to be here.
Thank you, Julie.
So I'll be brief tonight. Under the new business tonight, you'll be looking at the proposed sabbatical recommendations, and normally, of course, this happens in spring, but we had 2 openings this year, and so our committee convened, and before you, you'll see those 2. I'd like to say, pay some thank yous to our committee, which is made up of Jessica Hale, Dave Wooten, and Kelly Gottschalk. So thank you.
Thank you. Are there any public comments tonight? If so, would you please come forward? Seeing none, thank you. Vanessa, do we have any written communications?
There were 2 received.
Thank you. Okay. Monthly reports. We have a personnel recommendation in tab B. The recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the personnel recommendation as listed. Do I hear a motion for same?
So moved.
Support. We have motion and support. Is there any discussion? Trustee Hatcher?
The replacement, is that for Blair Stampa?
No, that's actually for Patty. She was
Okay.
the help desk.
And who does she report
faculty
to?
help desk.
Who do they report to? Linda?
No, they report to Pete Facility.
Okay, all
Or
right.
Nancy Collison, who reports to Pete Facility.
Okay, thank you.
VP Veltri, do you have anything to add?
I do not.
Thank you. We'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? The motion passes. Thank you. Financial reports. Tab C in your package. Recommendation is that the Board of Trustees receive the financial reports for October 2019 as follows: General Fund, Deferred Maintenance Fund, Capital Fund, and Combined Schedule of Investments, all funds. Vice President Johnson, do you have any light to shed on this for us, or shall we proceed?
Just a couple of quick comments, please.
Please.
On page 2 of the report, just note for the board that tuition revenue is down a little bit. Again, as we've been talking, that fall is about 3% down in credit hours. So that's why you see us down from the 9 to 2,000. But that's offset by higher summer, this past summer. So we're netting very close to a 0 on that. Property taxes is right on track to budget. And state aid, please report that we received our first and second payments for state aid after the budget was settled, and the budget amounts were right in line with what the state payments are. So revenue is well in hand. On the cost side, we're down about $500,000 from budget year to date. That's all in personnel. And in personnel, it's largely due to the number of vacancies that we have being higher. We're averaging around 28, 29 at this point in time. Most of those are on the independent staff side. And so that's offering some favorability to budget.
Thank you. Any questions? Trustee
I
Hatcher?
was going to ask if you break down faculty independent administration, would you say most of them are independents?
Most are independent. Of the 29, most are independent. I think only 1 or 2 are faculty.
Okay.
I think we had one.
okay.
Yes, yeah, one was faculty. A few for custodial maintenance, we had 1 or 2.
Okay.
And we had some temporary positions that
Ah.
were vacant.
Thank you.
Did I see another hand up over here? Anybody else? I would entertain a motion for the approval of the financial reports.
So moved.
And support. Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Financial reports are accepted. Thank you. Facilities Development Report. Vice President Johnson, please.
Thank you. Just a couple things to report. Item number 2 for the firing range. We're very close to complete with that. We are putting in the light fixtures. We ordered a special lighting system that will help support the simulation of various training conditions, and that's being installed as we speak. And then we'll go through a final round of testing for lead, as we always would for the range, and it's on track for December 1. So that's important. To remind the board, we have 3 major projects going on starting next month. The Chem Hood replacement project, which will kick in here the first week in December. And then we have 2 flooring replacement projects which the board has approved. One for the LA building and one for the SE building. And those are in their final stages of being planned. And then lastly, just wanted to mention that regarding so called the bicycle path. I had to think of what it was called. The bicycle path, Trustee Dytemore, you had asked when that timing was to be. The contract's been awarded, but now because of winter has arrived, they are going to delay and start it in March and be done by June.
Any questions?
I just have a quick.
Trustee Davis.
Thank you. Just a generic question. Where is the firing range at? And I see MLB, so I guess is this
It's here. the
building?
Under
It's
the,
at the end of the hall.
that way. The end of the building, yeah. It's in here.
You probably walked past it
Yeah.
tonight.
It's probably, it's
Probably.
Xed off, so you can't. get
Yeah,
in.
you can't get in.
It's true.
Interesting. Okay. I just never knew where it was
Yeah.
located. Thank you.
And we're now at that point in the agenda where I invite any of my fellow trustees to come forth. Trustee Landau?
Yeah, I wanted to bring something up. I'll try to be brief, but I'm the liaison to Washtenaw Technical Middle College. And at our board meeting this past Wednesday, I had occasion to talk to some of our faculty. And the concern was raised that faculty are not using Blackboard effectively, that they are not timely posting grades, and that this is impairing the ability of WTMC staff to counsel their students. In addition, since faculty aren't posting grades timely to Blackboard, at least some faculty are not, they also aren't sending out midterm reports, which I understand are required. So counselors at WTMC are not finding out that students are failing until sometimes when it's way too late to be able to help them. And there also just doesn't seem to be a mechanism whereby faculty are notifying TMC staff that students are failing. And I think just generally for all of the students at Washtenaw Community College, some of whom have had challenges in other academic environments, that I think it's essential that faculty post grades to Blackboard on a very timely basis, and that midterm reports in general should go out. So I would request a report at a future board meeting regarding faculty utilization of Blackboard and faculty utilization of midterm reports, so that we can, A, determine whether in fact, I'm not saying there's a problem, I'm being told there might be. But I would like to know from administration what faculty utilization of Blackboard is, how timely grades are being posted, whether faculty are all complying, and if not, what the degree of noncompliance is for generating midterm reports, and how faculty are notifying students, at least by the midterm of the semester, whether or not they are failing the class. So, Madam President, if you could undertake securing that data for me and perhaps scheduling for a report at a future meeting, I would appreciate it. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Trustee Hatcher?
It's my understanding that midterm grades are not required. Faculty are not required to submit midterm grades. They're encouraged to do that. But as a developmental teacher, I submitted grades on Blackboard in thirds, because by the time it's midterm, it's too late. So I didn't do midterm grades. I did grades every 5 weeks. But I don't think there's a requirement for faculty to do that. Now, I think your argument for doing it is a good one for WTMC students. And I think faculty who have those students should be encouraged to communicate with WTMC, but it's not a requirement.
I would go further. No, I completely disagree with that. I don't care if it's a requirement. I think, there are a lot of things that we get reports on that aren't requirements, and I think maybe if the report shows, I think maybe we have a bit of a bully pulpit here, and even if it isn't a part of the faculty contract, I think it's important as a matter of public relations and transparency to our students that they know the extent to which faculty are complying. And I frankly think whether or not it's in the contract, it's clearly a best practice that midterm reports on failing students should be given not just to WTMC students, but to all students. And frankly, I think it's a best practice that if we're spending how many millions of dollars on Blackboard, Bill? How many millions? If we're not utilizing that, then I think it's part of our responsibility as trustees to make sure that that is public knowledge, and that if people are not complying in the future, we take steps to ensure compliance. If they are complying, well, then we don't have a problem. But I'd like to know if there's a problem.
Yeah. Well, I disagree. I don't think it is necessarily best practice, and I think in a community college with adult students, every student should know what their grade is without a teacher telling them. So we disagree.
Well, I've heard that argument too often, and I think that when you yourself, Ruth, we're talking about retention. Obviously, one of the keys to retention is making sure students are successful. And I, for the life of me, don't know how I, as a person, can determine whether I'm successful if I can't know what my grade is.
But you should know what your grade is.
honestly,
And my students always know. I would be on the list of people not turning in a midterm grade because I turned in grades every 5 weeks.
And that's fine.
But that would come up on your quest as someone who is, quote, non-compliant.
Well, then you would be non-compliant, and perhaps you would change your practice.
I would not change my practice.
Then you would
because
continue.
Students need to know their grade every 5 weeks.
And I'm
not
telling you
every-
that we're dealing with a population that has shown challenges in dealing with academic environments, and I cannot see a reasonable intellectual argument for why faculty can't post grades on a weekly basis. I don't see it.
Weekly basis, that's even more.
At least weekly.
Then students should know what their grade is at
And
any given time.
then it will be in Blackboard, and they will know. So anyway, I would like a report on that. We can then decide as a board whether it's something that we want to deal with.
Okay, I will do that.
Thank you. Any other trustee remarks? Trustee Davis.
Thank you. I had come by way of information from a current student that she was not given information about the 3-in-1 curriculum setup, articulation setup that we have. Isn't that right, what that is?
Yes, articulation.
Articulation.
Right, yes.
By way of her counselor, she didn't find out until sometime after the fact. I don't know all the particulars, but I'm bringing this up just out of concern that how many other students may not have gotten information from their counselors of different pathways that are available to them based on whatever curriculum that they've chosen. So I will like to ask that if in the meetings with the counselors, are they actively supporting this with their students that they counsel? This particular student is of color, and I'm not at all implying that certain students get information opposed to other students. I'm just saying it as a blanket statement. This is a student that that provided this information. Could we as a whole look at the counselors, and are they actively bringing up to the students that they counsel, whomever the student may be, all the programs made available based on the curriculum that they choose, if it's a 3-in-1 matriculation or whatever it may be, because it's very important that they are giving that information, because if you don't know, you don't know. And I have been on, and I'm just using it for a quick example, I've been on the back end of getting information where, geez, if I had known, it should have, would have, could have happened this way. Well, I hate to have that to come up with our students. I'm just throwing that out there.
I'll look into both.
Yeah, I'm
requests.
just throwing that out.
Any other remarks? President's remarks, President Belanca?
I'll pass.
Thank you. Moving into old business on our agenda. Tab E, Energy Center Chiller Overhaul Contract. The recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the chiller overhaul and upgrade contract with Train US, Inc. in the amount not to exceed $170,000. Vice President Johnson, do you have any light to shed on that for us before we plunge ahead?
No, nothing new to report on this.
I'd entertain a motion for approval
So moved.
and support.
Support.
Any further discussion?
I love voting for chillers.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And are there any opposed?
Oh, it's money, yeah.
It's just an action.
A roll call. It's
Roll
money.
call.
Vice Chair Milliken,
Yes.
Treasurer Davis,
Yes.
Trustee Hatcher,
Yes.
Trustee Landau,
Yes.
Trustee McKnight.
Yes.
The motion carries handily. Public Safety Distributed Antenna System, Tab F. The recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve a contract with ComSource for the installation of a distributed antenna system to amplify the signal strength in an amount not to exceed $114,257. Vice President Blakey, do you have any comment on that for us?
No, we talked about that at the last board meeting. If we have any questions about this, is to amplify the signal for the 800 megahertz radios used by first responders, by our staff and first responders.
I'd entertain a motion for the approval of this.
So moved.
Second.
Vanessa, please call a roll.
Vice Chair Milliken,
Yes.
Treasurer Davis.
Yes.
Trustee Hatcher,
Yes.
Trustee Landau,
Yes.
Trustee McKnight.
Yes.
Motion stands approved. Thank you. Tab G, approval for a new program. Tab G, the recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the discontinuation of the 3+1 programs for fall 2020 as submitted.
It's the new program. That's right. I have the wrong word there. It's the new program.
I'm sorry.
So
Oh,
G
new
is
program.
G is the new program, and that's what I say. G is the new program, and H is discontinued.
That's
So I
right.
have the wrong word. I
Ah,
have the word, so I should say.
Chair stands corrected. Approval of a new program. The recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the new program for fall 2020 as submitted in tab G. Is that correct? Located in tab G. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
And support. Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion passes. Thank you. Did you have anything to? Thank you. Okay. Now, approval to discontinue programs. The recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the discontinuation of the 3+1 programs for fall 2020 as submitted. I'd entertain a motion for the approval
So moved.
and support.
Support.
Thank you. Is there any discussion?
When did we approve the Davenport stuff? Do you remember how long we've had it? Because
Offhand, I do not.
There was
I mean,
a whole
it's a-
giant, we did a lot of 3+1s all at once.
I
in a big
remember,
packet
did we
a
have
while
any
ago.
students that did Davenport?
Not with these, and that's why they're here to
Yeah,
be
okay.
discontinued, because they weren't used.
I can't imagine why the Davenport, never mind.
All right, thank you. We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to new business. Proposed approval of additional 2019-2020 faculty sabbaticals. Vice President Hearns?
No additional comments except for that these are 2 additional sabbaticals that'll be for winter 2020, because all 6 were not allotted with the first round of approvals.
Trustee
I'd
Hatcher?
like to offer a friendly amendment, I'm not sure what I'm doing, to move this to a roll call vote for action. As it says at the bottom, it might be.
So you'd like to be acted upon tonight
Yes.
and by roll call.
Thank you.
Trustee Landau, how do we engineer that?
I believe that trustee Hatchers just filed a motion to move this to an action item.
Amend the agenda.
I did.
To amend the agenda. Okay, move motion to agenda, the other, which I support.
So we have
So
a
now we vote
motion.
on that motion.
And we have
And then we
support
vote on this motion.
to amend the agenda,
To move it to an action.
An action item.
to move it to an action item.
No, that's just an all in favor.
And all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The agenda is modified. And now we're going to, Ruth going to make a motion to,
I'll move that we hold a roll call vote on this.
Second?
all in favor of holding a roll call vote, say aye.
Aye.
And none opposed, so we move to a roll call vote, please, Vanessa.
Vice Chair Milliken,
Yes.
Treasurer Davis,
Yes.
Trustee Hatcher,
Yes?
Trustee Landau,
Yes.
Trustee Franklin.
Yes.
We have an approval, thank you. Other new business, establishment of policy 8045, records management policy. Mr. Barkoff?
This is probably not the most exciting policy to talk about, but currently the college does
Well,
not have,
limit you to 5 minutes.
currently the college does not have a comprehensive campus-wide records management policy. We've got a patchwork of different practices that we adhere to. You can see this policy defines college records, but most importantly, it adopts the state of Michigan general retention schedules for the records that apply to the college's records, so that we can manage those in a lot more efficient way. Currently, we spend a lot of time archiving, both electronically through PDF and saving, storing paper records, even microfiche. But this policy will allow us to use the state of Michigan's established records retention schedules to manage our records in a more efficient way. And you can also see it prohibits the destruction of any records that would be subject to a litigation hold or a pending FOIA request.
I move to amend the agenda to move this to an action item.
I'll second that.
Their support. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
An action item is before us, establishment of policy 8045, records management policy, as described by General Counsel Barkoff.
And I move to call for a roll call vote.
I have a question.
Could I have support?
Support for the roll call.
Support and discussion?
Just the one question, did this come out of our current audit? It says audit, it didn't, okay.
We're good now?
I'm good.
All in favor, excuse me, call the roll, please, Vanessa.
Vice Chair Milliken,
Yes.
Treasurer Davis,
Yes.
Trustee Hatcher?
Yes.
Trustee Randall?
Yes.
Trustee McKeon?
Yes.
Stands approved. Thank you. Is there any other new business to come before the Board of Trustees this evening? If not, we've reached the end of our agenda, and I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Support. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you very much.